Hello and welcome to
Wisdom for menopause and beyond, mainly beyond.
mainly beyond. Well, we look at menopause.
We are looking at menopause, funny enough.
We do, but we look at areas around menopause. So I thought we'd talk a little bit today.
Yeah, this is going to get very exciting.
Maybe about the concept of homeostasis and menopause.
Yeah, and I think this kind of arose because we were having this kind of conversation about, and we've met kind of people recently that have said, oh, it's all very well for you to talk about, menopause being the most amazing, wonderful time of your life, but actually, what about my brain fog? What about my sleeplessness? What about my different things? So all of these things that are happening because of menopause. And
That's
we're like,
right.
So let's say, and in order to get to that, if you like, the kind of
the philosophy
we're going to we're going to start with a concept of homeostasis.
So because it's
what
interesting.
What the hell is homeostasis is the question I know you're all asking.
Well, the idea of homeostasis is the body has a control mechanism to heal itself. And you think, how does this, it's sort of a little bit.
How can that be possible?
How can that be possible?
That sounds a bit woo-woo. Yes.
It does sound a bit woo-woo. So the body strives to heal itself, to balance itself. And very simple, obvious ones that are taught to you in Lesson 101 is things like if you get too hot, you sweat, the coolness of the skin, the water on the skin evaporating cools you down. If you're cold, you shiver. The moment sort of.
If you're noticing that your leg is at a weird angle and you've got extreme pain.
Well, this is sort of the idea that the body has mechanisms that it puts in place to heal itself. So if you cut yourself, the blood goes through a whole section and the macrophages come out and the blood gets thicker, and basically the blood clots, it scabs, and there's a whole process that the body at the end of a week or 2 weeks that is it's healed, it's gone away. So this is like simple ideas of homeostasis.
And also that thing that you did use that example of, if you have a broken leg, in the sense of when you go to a doctor or something like that, what they do is they make it straight and put it together so that it will then knit itself
together. Because the idea is no doctor heals a broken leg.
No.
I mean, they're a great place to go if they're broken, but the body does it. So the doctor puts it all in a line, and then the bone regrows and reknits itself. The muscles heal, the skin tissue heals. So this idea of homeostasis, the body's very good at this. But there's no question, and I'm not saying, absolutely not saying, let's underline that if you leave the body alone in all instances, you'll get better.
Fine.
But a lot of the time it does. So we have a set of symptoms. The body will always throw up symptoms and say, this is the problem. So you look at your leg, it's a weird angle. It really hurts. You can't walk on it. You can see a bit of bone sticking out. And all of those symptoms add up to, I've broken my leg.
So there's symptoms and then there's the cause.
So
we're distinguishing those two things.
So if we use that very simple example of a broken leg, you can give severe painkillers. You could wrap lots of bandages around and say, well, you're not bleeding, you're not doing, let's give you a big stick so you can walk on it. It's all sort of sorted, but actually you've not addressed the underlying issue.
That's right. Yeah.
So we have a set of symptoms that gives us a sort of a window into the cause. And if we treat the cause, the body
is enabled
to resolve the symptoms.
So that's the kind of where we're starting.
This is where we're starting with
this concept of homeostasis. So actually what's happening is your body is at all times trying to get back to that equilibrium state, that mended state, that place. So that's what's kind of happening.
It does it because we've got DNA in every cell of our body, and the body is programmed to recreate that DNA. So it knows that it doesn't grow an ear over here because it looks at the program in the DNA and it goes, this is what's needed to be happening.
So in some instances, we can see that homeostasis is quite a basic concept.
It's absolutely basic.
And we can see things like cutting yourself. We accept that. You cut yourself, it will heal. You do certain things, it will just get better. And whatever. So there is a kind of feeling that homeostasis is part of the picture.
But we're more concerned especially more recently, because we have a lot of people trying to sell us a cream that will resolve a burn or something like that. And it's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong on that. But it has this, we can sell you something that will make that go away. So it's the thing that makes it go away rather than the body.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we sort of look at these as things rather than the body heals itself, if you like.
Yeah. So we're saying that we're kind of coming from the opposite direction then. We're saying the thing is doing whatever it is, whatever you choose enables the body to deal with the underlying cause.
Well, so we're really, what we're looking at, to clarify, is we have an underlying set of symptoms that gives us, we have a set of symptoms that leads us, if we walk that gateway and explore the symptoms, then we get to the cause. And if the cause is not resolving, then we need to look at what's blocking that resolve. So if we come back to menopause,
so let's go back to
menopause. Which is what we're talking about,
which is kind of where we started, where people were saying, you know, you're so happy clappy about menopause, and you know, I'm fed up with all these bloody cheerleaders saying it's amazing and how wonderful it is, and you know, and all the rest of it. And of course, you know, you and I, in a sense, being long past that and going, yes, in that sense, but people who are still in that process are kind of getting a bit cross.
They're getting a bit cross.
But it's so what we're saying, so the symptoms that have kind of said, so what can happen is I am a set of symptoms, in a sense. People feel that these symptoms are them, you know, that
we're shown that if we have 4 out of 10 of these or 5 out of 10 of these, it means you have this disease. And the treatment of this disease is to suppress the symptoms. But not resolve the underlying cause. Now, if we come back to...
So in a sense, that's where we're at. Look at our kind of just longer discussion on HRT to see where we're coming from with that. Because that's what we feel, that's what's happening.
That's what's happening, that people have a set of symptoms, and that set of symptoms is then classified as menopause. And the treatment of menopause is HRT.
So diagnosis and treatment is what we're looking at.
Whereas, and very interestingly, I've been reading a book by a French doctor that says very few of these symptoms are necessarily menopausal, but they're definitely around. So that's a bit of an aside. We might come back to that.
We'll come back to that next time.
But it is interesting that we have a set of symptoms, and we always want symptomatic relief. We kind of get that, I understand that. But you must look at resolving the issue. Now, for a lot of people, let's start at one point of this. Somebody couldn't sleep, they were 40, I've probably spoken about this before, and the doctor said it's probably menopause because you're exhibiting 1 or 2 of these things. So gave her HRT. Now, this did not resolve it. She got sicker and sicker and sicker. So the doctor was so concerned about resolving a symptom, we didn't actually look at what the next part of it is. So if somebody does go with brain fog or different things that are going on, people just really want their life back. So people are going, well, you're losing your hormones, let's give you more hormones. Now, we've spoken about this in a previous one about that. But it's not actually resolving the problem. It's symptomatic relief, which is actually menopause has got stuck. So if we're talking about, let's go back to the broken leg or the cut. You cut your arm, it's a little cut. It sort of stops bleeding after a little bit of pressure, a little bit of thing. It stops bleeding. It might be a bit weepy for a day, then the next day it's fine, and it all resolves. As opposed to a really serious, I don't know, cut on the glass, or you put your hand through a window or something, and this has cut something really seriously. Now, you could leave that for a week, but you're very likely to bleed out.
You're very likely to die.
So homeostasis is going to do its thing, but
there are limits.
But it's over. The body is overwhelmed, and it can't resolve it. So you go to the doctor or surgeon or wherever you go, and they stitch the wound, and it stops the bleeding, and then they hand the whole lot over to homeostasis. That finishes the job.
Yes.
So
in a more serious case, there might be other interventions or antibiotics and yada, 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 and different things which enable the body to achieve homeostasis.
It's almost like the body's gone this far and it goes, no, I can only resolve from point B.
Yeah.
So the intervention brings you back to point B.
Yeah.
And then homeostasis takes you on the rest of the journey, whatever that happens to be.
So we were going to use the example, and then I think, of me having a bad back.
This is a good example that you had a bad back.
Well, yeah, it was that weird thing, that minor thing. I was getting dressed after swimming and I was a bit cold and a bit damp and pulled on my jeans and felt something happen in my back, which progressively got worse. So it became unbearable pain.
Yeah.
Unbearable pain. So, no relief, sitting, standing, lying, whatever, unbearable.
So the doctor's resolve of this was,
let's try a load of painkillers.
Let's try some painkillers, which didn't work. So they went, let's
try different painkillers.
Different painkillers.
Yeah.
Anyway,
which kind of did.
You've kind of got the right painkillers.
Eventually,
so that could go on for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
30 years. And basically, my problem was I've got a painful back. I've now found a pain relief for that back.
Yes.
But actually, what we're looking at with homeostasis is the body has got into a position where it can't resolve this problem.
It was an extruded disc.
So we've got that being treated by a chiropractor.
Well, what was interesting for me was, and this is another thing that we think is also important. So normally in those instances, when something is wrong with my posture, when something's kind of going on, I go to the osteopath. Fantastic osteopath. She's great. Had my 3 treatments. Momentary relief, didn't shift it. Then other places to go. Acupuncturist normally been brilliant. She's sorting out all sorts of different things for me. Went to the acupuncturist, didn't shift it. So then I was in a bit of a quandary. So I'd tried 2 of the things that would normally work for me. And then somebody casually mentioned that they knew this chiropractor, McTimoney chiropractor, and that she'd had some kind of issue with her back and this woman had sorted her out. So I went to see the chiropractor. Oh my God.
So we've got this.
But what happened was the painkillers got me to a state where I was actually able to get in a car, get out of a car. That was about all I could do. I couldn't really do anything else and get to the place. And I tried those 2 things that normally worked, didn't work for me. And then I tried a third thing, which was a new thing. My God, game changer.
So what we're talking about is homeostasis will cure the body, but we do have a block sometimes.
And you have to find the right thing.
But what we're looking at is this resolving of the block. So with a very simple thing, like a big slash in the arm, the resolving of the block is to stitch it. A very serious break in the leg, the block would be put it in a straight line.
Enable it to do that.
If it was a small fracture of a tiny little bone, the doctors just say leave it alone, it will sort itself out. So
you've got a broken rib, so whatever.
I want to say, and then it comes to certain things, and it's like all of that goes out the window.
Yeah.
So we get to menopause. Now, what menopause is a natural progression from one healthy state to another healthy state.
So this what we're saying is it implies you start in a healthy state.
Well, but homeostasis will walk you through that process. But we also acknowledge that there are real blocks sometimes that the body is overwhelmed by that natural ability to resolve, and it gets stuck, unable to put its natural ability into place. And what you can do at that pace is go back into homeostasis. How do I get my body to point B from which it can run?
Yeah.
Or do I go, well, let's just take over the body completely and say, let's give you HRT, medication, antidepressants, whatever it is, which takes away the pain.
Takes away the symptom.
But the underlying cause is not addressed. And we look at menopause as something that is unfathomably unable for the body to sort out. Now, my argument would be, and a lot of people would be, from the alternative approach is we don't fix it. We enable your body to get to the point from which it can run. And when you actually look at what surgeons do, and they go, well, your heart's broken, we'll give you a new heart and we'll put stents in and we'll do this, that, and the other. And you think,
I had a very, I had an arthritic hip, I've got a new one.
Yes.
And Dabby Dozy.
So but we don't accept. So we kind of think, yeah, that's magic. But actually, all they're doing is getting the body back to where it takes over, where it can run. So it's just a different way of doing it. But a lot of people think, if my body's broken, I almost need a constant crutch. I need that medication to do it.
I need sorting. So, and somebody else needs to do it for me.
So we're saying the symptoms for some people are overbearing. It's a bit like saying, well, I had a broken leg last week. It took me a week and I was over it. And somebody goes, well, I'm in chains for 6 months.
Exactly, yes.
So you can't compare. So this idea of brain fog, which is the big one, anxiety, sleep.
And sleeplessness.
And sleeplessness. So these ones, we really do not want to not acknowledge that they're real. But the set of symptoms when I was learning homeopathy, the idea is you analyze the set of symptoms because the individualization of your symptoms opposed to your symptoms, as opposed to your symptoms, are giving the reason why your body is blocked and their body's blocked. But not everybody has the same block. No, exactly the same block.
So we're now going to talk about, when we talk about here are these different kind of things, where in a situation where you need an intervention, homeopathy is one of those things. It is not the way, the truth, the light. It is one of those alternatives. So in the way that when I was investigating what was going to deal with the slip disc, osteo, acupuncturist, chiropractor, I didn't just say, oh, well, the osteo didn't work, so that's it, I'm broken. You try other things. So homeopathy, and we're talking about this, one, because this was how I got relief during menopause, and she was the person that gave it to me.
But more importantly, we're talking slightly deeper than that. We're not bringing relief.
Okay, sorry, this is the wrong word.
No, but we're not bringing a painkiller to a bad back.
Right.
We're bringing the chiropractor to the bad back.
Okay.
So when I work bottom up, top down, in that, yes, you need pain relief because otherwise you're not getting through the day very well. But pain relief is not solving the problems. So you need the chiropractor to sort out all these discs, but it's too painful to manage the sort out of the discs without this.
Yes.
So this is the top down, this is the bottom up.
Yeah.
And the individualization of symptoms. So when I see people with menopause, I don't think in the hundreds and hundreds I've seen, I've never seen two the same. So that person that comes up with a list of, brain fog is not brain fog. Brain fog is experienced individually and how that copes with mental feelings of depression, of anxiety, of a relationship being super happy and feeling really depressed about it. Very individual symptoms, because your body and your symptoms are individual, and your symptoms are individual because it's telling you what the remedy is. So we're used to having a headache and having an aspirin because it's one symptom, one resolution. But actually, even you found the first 3 lots of different types and different combinations. I mean, they weren't just one pain relief, they were a whole combination. Didn't make any difference at all. And you're thinking, these are massive painkillers. We're talking about opiates, we're talking about all sorts of painkillers. They kill the pain. No, they didn't work. So these
amazing to be
individualization of symptoms, one thing is not going to resolve it. So the body has a set of symptoms, and those symptoms, if you analyze them, have got a resolution. And if you can meet that resolution, the symptoms are calling. Symptoms are good. Symptoms are calling. They're telling you your leg's broken, your back's gone.
My back's gone. Don't
but it's
do anything.
It's calling for you to find a remedy to relieve those
because
symptoms.
It's not able to deal with it. The
because
body can't get you back to homeostasis.
If you give me that, I will deal with it. So again, homeostasis, as taught in Room 101, is I'm really, really thirsty. I'm really got a headache, I might pass out, and it says, have a drink of water, because the body can't create, it can't deal with this. It needs that. And then it goes, right, leave it with me. I can do the rest. So your symptom, your particular symptom, is very worth looking at and absorbing and welcoming. So it's almost, if you can learn to welcome your symptoms rather than suppress your symptoms.
I know. Hard ask.
Really, it's a really hard ask. But looking at exactly what's going on, this brain fog is more than I can cope with.
Yes.
Sleeplessness is more than I can cope with. And instead of just giving you a sleeping tablet, which I'm not against, you need the relief, that's not what I'm saying, but if you can add all your symptoms, particularly, so a pain relief specialist, and there are specialists there, it's sort of an art and a science, and it's a bit of a witchcraft thing with a pain relief. And they get it, and it's because they've really analysed your particular symptoms. So
it was true, because it was after a conversation with the doctor who actually specifically said, which is the worst pain, what is going on, where is it, what's happening, yada yada yada,
because your symptom,
so I'm going to give you this,
was calling for one particular
because
thing.
the disc was pressing on the nerves, so it was a nerve pain,
but then other nerve
particular nerve pain that was
so this particular absolute actualization of it will give us relief. So when we're talking about menopause, coming back into that space, it's kind of like the body is doing a healthy change. It's trying to do something healthy. It's
your makeup of the estrogen that you have is changing. You know, it's changing from one form of estrogen to another form of estrogen.
And it's why
all of these
giving HRT is, although some people find it useful, they don't always find it useful long term, because the body's trying to change while this is going on. So it's a bit of a moving target that we're trying to hit, and adding more hormones is not resolving the issue.
No.
So your body needs to make this change. And so by the philosophy of this, it's how, when it gets stuck, so you think, I feel a bit like I've got brain fog, and it's not shifted. It's hanging around. It's beginning to invade my life. It's beginning to make me very anxious.
Don't feel like myself.
Everything about me feels odd. My body seems to be getting old, whatever it is. The body should go to a healthy state. And if you get the balance right, so with homeopathy, we look at all of these different symptoms and we match them to a remedy or a set of remedies that then just unblocks that. Now, interestingly, just going back to the French doctor again, that written a very interesting book, she takes on all these statistics about anxiety, depression, and brain fog being necessarily menopause related. In fact, I think she quotes a figure of only 4 times less than you would imagine. So it's a lot less. It's about 8%, I think, is what she's talking about, of people. It's really, if you are in a happy marriage and you've got happy kids and you've got no financial difficulties, these natural symptoms aren't occurring.
They're not occurring, they're much less. So it's not necessarily
just menopause. So the block might be elsewhere. It might be to do with your home life. It might be to do with other worries. It might be to do with anger and different emotions that
starting a business,
anger from you've remembered, perhaps parents have died and you've never told them stuff, whatever it is, or parents have died and it's devastating. But there's lots of other things that add to the fact that at this point in life, you're not walking through this in a natural
it's not
state.
Letting you do that.
No, and
you don't have you don't have the capacity to enable the body to do that.
No, so it gets stuck. So you need to find, a bit like you need to go to your normal places, which is what we tell people, but also be a bit more open. Be a bit more open, because you went to 3 places that always work for you, and then you went to one place that doesn't, and it did.
I know, how amazing was that?
So this is why we would say look for the homeostasis, because that's walking you through this process in a really good way. It explains why people are happy clappy about it. Menopause is the best time of your life. It's so wonderful. It's so opening. And it kind of is, if you can walk through it well. But it doesn't, but for people that don't, you should. So we do say balance beforehand,
Yeah.
because if you've got a very strong immune system, you've got a very strong bones, you've got very strong, you're likely to recover from your broken leg better.
True. Yes.
Than if you never
I've got a friend who's just gone in for a knee op, and they can say, well, she's quite fit and she's like this, so she should be much easier to recover. And they said that about my hip. I mean, I kind of did things. I was going to spin class before I went. I was like, I've got to get it right. I've got to be really fit. It's like that you have this idea that
the fitter you are.
So why, if not, the more hormonally balanced you are, then you're much better to go through menopause.
And also mentally.
Yes.
So if you're not in a great space, which unfortunately when you reach sort of 45, 50, you're not always. And if there's something you can do about it, it might be like mentally, emotionally, I need to be approaching this time of my life as fit as I can, because it's a natural process, just like any operation. It's been shown time and time again. If you do an hour's exercise every single day, you're going to recover, I don't know, 4 times quicker than somebody who doesn't.
Do anything.
This is
well, and it's like things like hip ops and knee ops and everything like that come with a set of exercises you must do afterwards, because the operation on its own cannot solve it.
No, it's an enabler to enable again your body to take over things. So in menopause we talk about coping and correction. So first of all, look at your set of symptoms and see whether they are resolving. If it's something that's hanging about, because homeostasis is a process, a bit like, I don't know, when you heal your itch, it's part of the healing. Now, if you get stuck at something that itches and itches and itches and itches, you think, oh, maybe it's an infection. But it's kind of like, if it itched for a couple of days and then the scab came, or then, you look at that process and it's a healing, they call it a healing crisis, a healing process. But your menopause should be a moving, healing time. And it should move and it should heal. Now, 25% of people walk through with nothing.
They have no symptoms.
No symptoms at all, because that's the way life is.
40% of women have copable symptoms. So we're only looking at 65% of the population. So yes, you've got people. The other 35% are actually having symptoms which interfere with your life.
Yes,
in some way.
And this interfering is absolutely not part of the homeostasis, because it's interfering, it's not resolving, it's not healing. So this is where you look for help, and this is where all of your symptoms, mental, emotional and physical, whereas we are very piecemeal the way that they are. So we're either this or we're this, or whatever it happens to be. So this process of homeostasis, it's really important to sort of love your body, love the process, know the process, but do enter in a balanced way. And people say, well, what is balanced? And I think
we'll come back to that and go do more about how you achieve that set of balance. But for here, we just want to kind of leave you with that whole concept of the body is attempting, it has this homeostasis, that is the body's natural state. It is trying to do that for you. And you can see that in some simple examples that we take for granted.
We do take for granted.
I cut my finger, it's going to heal up.
So I think looking at the coping, is it eventually your life?
Yes.
But even with coping, look for things that help that homeostasis. Don't look at banging it on the head. So do find somebody that is, if this is not moving forward, you really need to think your body would naturally move forward. It would naturally just resolve that issue, resolve the next one. And it is a pattern. Menopause, people always look for the bleed. It's actually very often the mental and emotional symptoms that come first. Or sometimes you notice when something else changes that it's been going on for a while. The other thing we say is it lasts about 4 years, but it's 4 years of being okay. It's not 4 years of hell. It's not. And although it does sound happy clappy, it's really, if you are finding it difficult, please look for something that enables you to resolve this, not hide the symptoms. Hiding the symptoms, as we've said before, if you're on HRT, you're not resolving the underlying issue. Now, for some people, HRT buys them a year, buys them
Yeah.
2 years. They can think about things, especially if you're the head of the International Monetary Fund. You really just need a bit of space.
Do you know what? Not right now.
Not right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes people can do it. They're going through perhaps a difficult time. They're going through a divorce, or they change house, and you think, I can't deal with that on top of it. So it's a bit like your pain. This is the top down, bottom up. So think, where are you in what you're choosing to do? Is it top down? I'm just taking the edge off while I deal with it.
Yeah.
Is it bottom up, in which case I'm dealing with it, but it's causing a lot of problems? Or do I need a top down and bottom up solution? Because your body is not unable to do this. It is built to resolve.
Yes.
We are not all meant to hit menopause and die instantly. This is not it. It is a question of moving from, as in puberty, from prepubescent to puberty. We go from a fertile state to a non-fertile state, and there's a process, and homeostasis is magnificent at getting us through it. Okay, so we hope we've given you a kind of bit of an idea about that whole philosophy, and I think what we'll do is we'll definitely come back to a little bit more practical, or we have talked about it, maybe looking at those practicalities, but I can certainly think it's probably very useful to put something on that I would do. But what we might do is get a couple of guests in, see what they would do, so you have more of a choice. Because we are certainly not. We all work. We are certainly not the messiahs. No, well, we all work at homeostasis. And people go, should I do nutrition, or should I do acupuncture, or should I do this? You do everything. All we need to do is get over the hump so the body can do it. It's not that that's doing it. No, your body's doing it. It's that enables your body to do it. So enabling, having confidence in yourself, having confidence in your body, understanding homeostasis, notice how much it works for you without you even knowing, and then have confidence in that body. Okay, great. So we're going to take a break for the summer, but we'll see you back here in September, and enjoy.